Hey superheroes, this week marks the anniversary of the original Transformers hitting movie theaters, which makes sense as to why Optimus Prime has been trending all week. But we wanted to share an absolutely incredible story of how a Vietnam War veteran named Larry Cullen actually helped inspire the character that we have all come to know and love. Larry is our superhero of the week, and we hope that you enjoy the Superhero Faces throwback video. Till next time. Autobots, roll out!
You know, I'm a normal kid with normal problems. I am where I'm supposed to be.
Sam, fate rarely calls upon us at a moment of our choosing.
From toy shelves to comic book shelves, and eventually to the big screen, Optimus Prime has remained the embodiment of a perfect leader. But where did he come from? No, we're not talking about Cybertron, we're talking bigger picture. And that's what we're exploring on this episode of Origins. Initially designed and created as a toy in Japan, Optimus Prime originally went by the name Battle Convoy before Hasbro secured the rights to the toy and several others. Hasbro then brought these toys to the United States, where they were introduced as Transformers. Because the FCC and others were weary about any animated series based off of toys, Hasbro decided to team up with Marvel Comics to make a Transformers comic before making the jump to television.
Last year, Coleco Industries, which manufactured the hot-selling item Cabbage Patch dolls, rang up orders totaling $60 million. But this year, the toy industry says GoBots and Transformers will give those dolls a run for their money.
Only a few months would separate the publishing of the first Transformers comic book and the debut of the television series, and each became an instant success.
The Transformers from Marvel Comics.
Known for his work on Batman and the Green Lantern Green Arrow comic book series, it was legendary comic book writer Denny O'Neil who was first assigned the task of further developing the treatment of then Marvel editor-in-chief Jim Shooter. But after O'Neil and Shooter failed to get on the same page, the reins of the Transformers universe was soon entrusted with artist Bob Budiansky.
When Jim Shooter went down the line, he wasn't looking for me. I had a reputation as an artist, not as a writer. So he wasn't looking for me. He went to all the writing editors first, and they all turned him down. And then, like I said, out of a sheer act of desperation, he came to me.
Certain elements of O'Neill's work remained intact, however, including the name Optimus Prime and the idea that it would be the artist formerly known as Battle Convoy who would function as the team's leader.
Very early on, Jeffrey Scott, who's a very well-known animation writer, was brought in to do some development on Transformers. And his big contribution was on Optimus Prime. He said, he's Abe Lincoln. And I was like, that's brilliant. Of course, with malice toward none. Here's this guy they're stuck on Earth. They're in a desperate situation. He's got all these fractious personalities who are constantly, butting up against each other and having rivalries and whatnot. And he's the guy who can handle all of them.
Taking a lot of his inspiration from the original Japanese toys and the treatment of Shooter, Budiansky began to add depth to the Transformers characters and universe, expanding upon their mythology and conceiving the creation matrix with which Optimus would be entrusted. As far as previous legends that may have had an influence on the creation of Optimus Prime, there are also several other ideas and concepts in the original comic book and television series that are reminiscent of people, places, and ideas from the Bible.
Our planet was once a powerful empire, peaceful and just, until we were betrayed by Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. You left me no choice, brother.
Optimus Prime lives! Our leader is back.
Yes, Skylynx. And this time, no force in the universe can stop me.
It would be impossible to discuss the true origin of Optimus Prime if we didn't acknowledge Peter Cullen. Few are as synonymous with voicing a character as Cullen is with Optimus Prime. Cullen was one of several who auditioned for the job of Optimus and largely credits his landing the gig thanks to the advice of his brother.
He was K Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and he fought in Vietnam. We were sharing an apartment at the same time, and he said, "Peter, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to an audition, Larry." He said, "What are you going to audition for, Peter?" I said, "It's going to be a truck." He started to laugh, I started to laugh, and I said, but Larry, he's a hero truck. And he looked and he said, okay, a hero. Well, if you're going to be a hero, Peter, be a real hero. Don't be one of those pretend Hollywood heroes, always yelling and acting tough. If you're going to be a hero, Peter, remember, be strong enough to be gentle.
Sometimes even the wisest of men and machines can be in error. I have no reprimand for Wheeljack or Bumblebee.
In the 30-plus years since that time, Cullen has been the voice of Optimus Prime in mediums including television, film, video games, and even the ride at Universal Studios.
Autobots, roll out!
Like many other series of this era, Transformers comics and cartoons were chock full of valuable lessons, and it is through the delivery of these messages that we find another possible influence: the real world. The need to care for our environment was a hot-button issue in the early 1980s. When following a decade that saw the passing of several acts advocating for cleaner air and oceans, the scale slowly appeared to be tipping back in the direction of anti-environmentalists.
We must never lose sight of the fact that upon this earth, we are titans, and such power must be used wisely.
We hope we've been able to shed a little light on the origin of Optimus Prime. Are there any other characters you would like us to explore the creation of? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.